Hello and welcome to Edinburgh Watch Company. My name is Jonathan. I just wanted to shoot a short video today as we are in the lead up to Christmas to give you a little bit of an insight into some of the Rolex sports watches. You may be looking to buy a gift for someone this Christmas. You may be looking to give someone an idea to give you a beautiful watch this Christmas. And I just wanted to show you through what we have and so you can see some of the differences as it were. Now, everything we actually have here has all its original box and papers. They're all in absolute pristine condition. And I would be delighted personally to help you, give you some guidance if you're looking for something. Even though we don't have it, please just give me a call. Just so you know, we've also got finance facilities and credit card facilities. Delighted to consider a part exchange any way in which we can help you just to get your dream watch. So let's kick off here with one of the absolute classics. This watch is the Rolex Submariner. It is affectionately named the Hulk. You can see why, it's all in green. And in September 2020, after many years in production, Rolex decided to stop it. So it's now a discontinued model, which automatically means it becomes more and more desirable. Prices have gone up through the roof, but this is one that we happen to have in stock at the time of shooting. The Rolex Submariner as a model is a one that's been in Rolex's range for many years. It's a watch that was designed and built by Rolex for divers, needing something like a tool watch that would take them down into the ocean, and all of the Submariners will give you a waterproof testing down to 1,000 foot. So I think that's going to be enough for most of you. Aside from its abilities under the water, it is just an absolutely beautiful watch to wear. I've had many of these through my time, and they're a very, very popular model for us to buy and sell. So the basics of the watch: it's an automatic watch. It has a chronometer status, which means in this particular watch, which is a 2018 watch, it'll perform to within -2 to +2 seconds per day. Some of the older ones are -4 to +6, so still very, very good. It is an absolutely gorgeous dial, as you can see here. It's a sunburst green dial. You have the hour markers around the perimeter there with a luminous coating, meaning it's very, very easy to tell the time at night time. It's got about a 48-hour power reserve. Now, this model came out around about 2012, and it replaced what we affectionately call the Kermit, which was a black dial, green bezel, and they did it all in all green, as it were. So one of the things they did on this watch is they wanted to make the watch even more durable than it was before. So they replaced the aluminium bezel insert you see here with a ceramic bezel insert, and that is more resistant to scratch and chips. It's all made out of what Rolex call 904L grade stainless steel. So that's a really, really strong stainless steel, and it also lasts not only your generation, but the next generation to come as well. To ensure it's waterproof, the crown on the side here actually screws into the side of the case, and you can see here you've got the crown guards just protecting it as well. The Submariners are fitted onto what we call the oyster bracelet here. So it's all in a sort of satinized finish, so you can see the beautiful grain running down the bracelet there. Doesn't quite show the scratches in the same way you would get on the polished center links. And it's then fitted onto what we call a glide lock clasp. So here we just pull this, and you can actually slide the bracelet up and down the clasp here just until you get it right. Then it just clips back in again. To ensure it doesn't come off when you don't want it to, then this clips shut here, and that goes over it there. So you have like a safety clasp as well. So a really, really good all-rounder. Now, my wrist size is actually 8 inches, so quite a big wrist, but we'll just give you a quick idea of what it looks like on my wrist there. As you can see, an absolutely beautiful watch. It really is. It's quite thin as well. I'm just going to hold it up to camera there so you can see how thin it is on the wrist. But you know, it very easily fits underneath most shirts and a jacket. But you can see there, absolutely beautiful bracelet and a very, very lovely watch to wear. I guess traditionally a man's watch, but we've got a few ladies wearing Submariners as well. They look very, very cool. So there we are. That is our Submariner, as I say, what we call the Hulk. And that is, you know, definitely one for the collectors. Now, I mentioned earlier that in September 2020, the Hulk was discontinued. But Rolex didn't let us down because they brought out something new. They brought out this. This is the new Submariner. Different color scheme. So you can see you have the black dial, you have the green bezel here, and all sorts of fun names have come out for the watch: Starbucks, Kermit, and there'll be many more to come. But it's a really nice color scheme. However, apart from the colors, they've actually changed a few things in the watch. So let's just put these two beside each other here, and we can see This one on the left, the Hulk, and we'll just bring that down a bit so we can see that on camera. This one on the left is 40mm case size. So that, when we say 40mm, this is the the width of the case there, and it's how watches are generally measured. So it's a good sort of gent size watch. However, this size now, 40mm, has been discontinued, and the new one is in 41mm. So not a massive difference, but I think you can see even on camera here the slight difference between the two. But the lugs here, on the traditional 40mm, they're slightly wider, and they've gone slightly narrow onto the new model there. They have, however, introduced a new movement to the watch, and this movement increases the power reserve from about 48 hours up to 70 hours. So really, really good, particularly good if you're looking to change watches through the week and you want to go back and your watch is still keeping time. Accuracy, just as good, plus minus 2 seconds per day. Waterproof, again down to 1,000 foot. Bracelet's slightly different on this one. It slightly tapers down more than the original one. It's slightly wider, you can see here, than the original one. Otherwise, all in stainless steel, has the glide lock clasp, and really, really good. Now these, again, you can't get either of these watches now. They're impossible to get, so they are actually sadly attracting a bit of a premium, but it's either that, I guess it's patience versus impatience. It depends how long you want to wait, but these are currently available in stock, and certainly we hope to have some more coming through soon. So there are two classic Submariners for those of you that like the color green. So sticking with the Submariner, now I've shown you a watch there in stainless steel. Now the Submariner you can get in steel and gold. You can also get it in solid gold, whether you choose white gold or yellow gold. This particular one we've got here is the new model. This also is the 41mm Submariner date with the black dial here. Solid gold bezel on the top here, again with a ceramic insert and the lovely gold running through the center of the bracelet. It's a really beautiful looking watch, and we've had these in the blue and the black, but it really does look well. I think I'm a big blue fan, but I think the black is slightly more understated. But again, like the other Submariners I showed you earlier on, let me hold that up to camera and you get an idea there. It's not overly thick actually for an automatic diver's watch, but a lovely looking piece. So Submariners, designed as tool watches. However, for those that want something a bit bigger, we go onto the Sea Dweller range. Now, this model here we're going to show you is the 43mm. Now, this was introduced around about 2017 as the anniversary model, because that was 50 years since the Sea Dweller model was introduced to the range. Now, it is a diver's watch like the Submariner, but where the Submariner takes you down to 1,000 foot, the Sea Dweller will take you down to 4,000 foot. And part of the engineering that was introduced into the Sea Dweller watch is just here. You can see that small button there. In fact, what it is an automatic helium escape valve. So when you're very, very deep in the ocean, helium will build up into these underwater tanks that divers are operating in, and naturally the helium would destroy a watch if pressure wasn't released. So some watches like the Omega Seamasters, you can unscrew the crown for that. With this one here, it's all done with like an automatic spring to let the pressure out. But I suspect many of you watching this today aren't going to be diving to those levels, so you'd be more interested in the rest of the watch. So we talked about the Submariners earlier on, 40mm, 41mm, this is 43mm, and it's slightly thicker as well than the regular Submariner to allow it to go to that extra depth. Otherwise, very similar, gold bezel, ceramic insert. This has the new movement in it too, again with a 70-hour power reserve, accurate to within plus or minus 2 seconds per day, still on this oyster bracelet there, and again with the glide lock clasp. So a really popular watch. I think this caught us all out really. We've seen Sea Dwellers for many, many years in different variations, and then they introduced steel and gold, which is something completely new. I have to admit, I wasn't quite sure about it when I first heard about it, but actually getting one in the hand, I really like some of the detail where you can see here, we can just hold this up to camera a bit there, that the actual Sea Dweller writing's in gold. I think it actually works very well. It is a fairly chunky watch, but it's not as chunky as the Deep Sea. So if you've got a big wrist, you're wanting something quite chunky, but not too much, then this may be something to look at, and particularly if you like that, that steel and gold theme to a watch. So that is the Sea Dweller 43. Now we don't actually have a deep sea in stock, but let's go and have a look at the classic Daytona. Now I am very, very biased to a Daytona. I think you can see here, I'm actually wearing one myself, the Daytona, one of my absolute favorites. This one we have here is the one with the massive weightless. It's the one you can't get. Stainless steel Daytona has been popular for as long as I can remember. Remember, I bought my first one back in 2003 and I waited years for that, and now I think they're talking 7 to 10 years. Many dealers aren't even taking your name on the waiting list for them. You can see why. It's just an absolute cracking watch, and just beautiful. Ceramic bezel was the change. So this model came out in 2016, and the biggest change to it was the introduction here of the ceramic bezel. The previous Daytona, beautiful looking watch, had a steel bezel on it, so it was prone to sort of marking a little bit if you weren't too careful. The ceramic is more resistant to that. Also changed the color of the dials there, so a good looking watch. You get this with a white dial as well, which is effectively known as the Panda dial, but the Daytona, gorgeous watch. Now this one here, again, what's lovely about the Daytona is it's very, very thin. You can just see there, and I'll actually pop it on my wrist so you can see it. Superb watch, 40mm, good size for me, and certainly for most. Lots of guys wearing them, and some ladies now enjoying their Daytonas as well. Very, very cool on a lady's wrist. And then just up to camera there, you can see they're very, very slim. But yeah, I'm really biased to this watch. I love it. So I'm sure if you wrap that up for Christmas and that was opened on Christmas Day, there'll be a very happy bunny. So that is the Daytona. I'll just take this watch off my wrist actually and give you a quick look. You also get these in gold. This is it here in the Ever Rose Gold. Absolutely beautiful with the pink sub-dials. Again, you've got the ceramic bezel. And they introduced the Oyster Flex strap here. You can see the suspension underneath. It's again a new look and feel, just means you can really wear the watch anywhere in the water, and a very, very desirable watch in the range just now. So that is the Ever Rose Gold one. And now we're going to have a look at the Pepsi. This is the GMT-Master. Now the GMT-Master has been out for years and years and years and years, but this is the latest look. So stainless steel, blue and red ceramic bezel. The GMT-Master was built as a watch back in the 1950s. It was a watch that was made between Rolex with the help of Pan American Airlines. They wanted a watch to help their pilots traveling around the world easily see different time zones, so they know that if they're flying through the night that it would be in blue, and if it was red they were flying through the day effectively. And with the extra hour marker on the dial there, you can actually have different time zones as well. But aside from that, wow, what a looker. They actually mounted it on a Jubilee bracelet, which I haven't seen in a very, very long time. Automatic, accurate to 2 seconds per day, waterproof to 100 meters. But this combination of the sports watch on the more classical bracelet makes it very, very comfortable. And you can see this one still in stickers here. But it also has the safety clasp there, so you don't want it coming off there. And it also features this easy link here too, so you can just make it that little bit bigger when you want to. I'll show you on my wrist as well. It's always nice to put the Pepsi on. I really love that. Just look at that there. Absolutely beautiful. Lovely, lovely color scheme, the way it catches the light. And again, really slim on the wrist as well. 40mm case size. Just an absolute cracker. So that's the Pepsi. We've had a few of these coming through now. I suspect this one is definitely going to be sold by the time it arrives. And lastly, I'd like to talk to you about the Explorer. Now, the Explorer I often talk about as being the understated Rolex. Very, very cool watch. Very, very cool. Worn by royalty, worn by explorers around the world. It's just a really, really good, dependable watch. Case size on this one is 42mm. The earlier models were 40mm, so they've made the case a bit bigger. It is also has a dual time zone on it there with the orange hand. The earlier ones used to have the red hand. Lovely big lume plots for the hour markers. Very, very easy one to read. You get these with a black dial or the white dial. The white dial they call the polar one. This is the black one here. Satinized bezel there. Again, the crown screws into the side of the case there. Waterproof to 100 meters. And here on the Oyster bracelet with a satinized bracelet there. Great watch. Again, 904 L grade stainless steel, automatic, 2 seconds per day accuracy. Lovely watch for the money. It really is. And these aren't commanding quite the same premiums, but again, you don't see these watches in the stores anymore. They are on my wrist there. Again, pretty slim, really, really easy watch to read. So there we are. That is the Rolex Explorer. So there we go. That kind of brings us to the end of today's video. It's just to give you a little bit of insight into some of the Rolex range. It also gives you an idea of the sort of watches we like to stock. All of these watches are very, very popular. They're turning over really quickly. So do keep an eye on the website here. And if you're looking for something like this, then please just give me a call. Delighted to have a chat with you about it. Meanwhile, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, Jay, you love your watches, why not click there? That'll subscribe you to our channel, but also on Facebook and Instagram too. We post all of our latest collection there. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.